let's get into it. And again, a Monday night special at the end of the segment. Well, the first one was, in fact, Mr. Brock Bowers. And we were in on this yesterday. Unfortunately, this puppy was bet down. But if you take 2 injury-free games this year from Brock Bowers, week 1 and last week, 12 for 127 and 3 touchdowns last week. We did play that prop, by the way, and we beat that by 77%. And in week 1, he had 5 for 103, and he had long receptions in those games of 27 and 38 yards. Denver did shut out Jake Ferguson last week, but that was with a lot of Patty Surtain on the field. Now, without him, they're playing a lot more zone, which does explain how Dalton Schultz, of all people, got him for a 47-yarder. That would have not happened, I don't believe, if they were in man coverage. And he got 6 for 77 on 8 targets. So Brock Bowers is a lot better than Dalton Schultz, and I'm a Dalton Schultz guy. They also gave up 2 weeks ago 6 grabs for 154 and 2 touchdowns to the Giants tight ends of all teams. And not to say anything negative about Danny Bellinger. I love me some Daniel Bellinger. But the other guy, Theo Johnson, I mean, this guy is replaceable. Let's just say that. If they do end up reverting to their man coverage ways, it's not a problem because Brock Bowers averages an excellent 2.38 yards per route run against man. So I'm thinking 11 to 12 targets, 7 to 8 grabs, and that should give him an excellent chance to get to 69, basically, or at least 60, 65. I know over at BetMGM right now, or at least this morning, it was 64.5. That's a lot better than 68.5, quite frankly. Next up now, I know I don't want to confuse people, but we do have this little thing. It's kind of playful. The DNP list, the do not play list. I did put Troy Franklin on the list, but we're back. And I have to say, he's on the DNP list on a Sunday. When you have a multitude of games, ain't no way in hell I'm considering Troy Franklin. But we have one game and tonight, and Marvin Mims is out. And I did like what Brett Whitefield had to say about Franklin with the 2 high safety looks. I could absolutely see that, scheme him up, basically shallow crosser, things like that, run after the catch. The guy did have 10 targets last week and did not hit this number. However, I watched the game last night. Dude was all over the field. He could have scored multiple times. I mean, they're using him in a variety of ways, and he does well. If they do play the man, he's good against man. And Bo Nix, he is the former college quarterback and all that good stuff. I do think also that they're looking to maybe not take out Courtland Sutton, but not get beat by Courtland Sutton, basically, over the top. So maybe not a big play, and offsetting that, you can feed the ball to a guy like Troy Franklin near the line of scrimmage. Next up, I really do like this one quite a bit, and Tom Browley already mentioned it. Ashton Jeanty over 17.5 receiving yards. This is over at BetMGM. Denver, they're tough to run on. They give up the 2nd fewest adjusted yards before contact, 11th fewest rushing yards per game. It is a pretty tough spot for Jeanty, but last week, he looked great in the passing attack, catching all 5 of his targets for 47 yards and a tutty. He had a 90% snap share, and he had a 58% route share coming out of the bye. Now, Raheem Mostert did make one big play in the passing attack, but it was only one. Denver, they did give up. They don't hand out receiving production, but they're middling. They give out the 15th most. I remember it was 3 weeks ago. Cam Scatterbo got 3 for 34 with a touchdown on 6 targets. A couple weeks before that, I remember liking a Barkley receiving prop. He got that. He had 3 for 35 with a touchdown. And also, Jeanty sees a 56.5% increase to his targets per route run against zone, which Denver, again, used 70% of the time last week. So I think he'll be very busy as a check down guy and get 3 or 4 targets with the Raiders playing from behind as 8.5 to 9-point underdogs. I like this one quite a bit. And look, we're kind of keeping it simple a little bit. the last couple of weeks on these nationally televised games were kind of going off the anticipated game script, game flow. First and foremost, Ashton Jeanty playing from behind. Correspondingly, on the other side, let's go over on J.K. Dobbins rushing over 68.5. J.K. used to stand for just kidding. Not anymore. He's balling this year. He's got 61-plus rushing yards in 8 of his 9 games. And he's hit 69 rushing yards in 6 of 9. So he's gotten to this prop in 6 of 9 games, 66.6% of the time. He looked very good last week. Most importantly, he led R.J. Harvey in carry share once again by a very large margin, 65% to 9%. So J.K., the veteran, is clearly still the top runner. They do give up, the Raiders, the 4th fewest adjusted yards before contact, 16th fewest rushing yards per game. It's kind of a middling matchup, but he got him as a Charger last year for $135 in 1 game on 10 carries, and then also 63 yards on 18 carries. They, again, have been more generous against the zone concepts this year, giving up the 11th highest success rate and the 12th highest yards per carry average against zone runs at 4.3. And among 44 running backs with at least 50 carries this year, Dobbins is 6.2 yards per carry on zone concept runs, the best in the league. Third on the list is Travis Etienne, who last week ran on the Raiders, 22 carries for 84 yards. And then last but not least, we are taking an under for November. I'll go under on Geno Smith. It could be close, 208.5. They do play a lot of man, which is pretty good news for Geno. Then again, he's not that good against man, but he's better than zone. Yet they played zone 70% of the time last week. They just lost Jacoby Myers. Granted, no Surtain, but Denver is still pretty good. Obviously, they have a very good pass rush. They are 4th in pressure rate, and Geno folds like a cheap tent against pressure. So I'm going to go under against a defense that, by the way, held Rain Dakota Prescott to 188 scoreless yards last week, despite having CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. Well, and Jake Ferguson. Geno's throwing to Trey Tucker and Jack Besh and Deontay Thornton. So I think it's the best under on the board for this game. So that's what I have in terms of the 5 props. Your Thursday night special is going to be Evan Engram to score an anytime touchdown at plus 265. He's only got 1 touchdown on the season. He got goose-egged last week, but he was wide open for a touchdown on the left side. I don't remember when in the game it was. I watched it last night. Bo Nix missed him. That was like a my bad dog type of thing. So they will probably play a lot of zone. That's what they do. Evan Ingram's pretty damn good against zone. He's due for a touchdown. Cortland Sutton will be a marked man. So there it is. Plus 265. I wish it was a little bit better, but Evan Engram, an anytime touchdown, your Week 10 Thursday night special.
Thanks for watching, but don't let the betting insights end here. If you want an extra edge this football season, you can get a month of VSiN Pro right now absolutely free. That means access to our betting insights, analysis, and tools like our betting splits at 0 cost to you. Click the link in the description to sign up.